there, this is Cynthia from Cynthia's Creative Craft, and today we're going to be making these cute little spider web. And I'll show you very briefly how to do it colored, but for the sake of time, because this video is mainly for TikTok, I'll show you mainly how to do the wire wrapping and putting a little bead on there. That way you can have an example of it. So, got a little bead right here, cute little butterfly. And then also for the sake of time, I'll just let you know the materials and stuff, because TikTok, the longest video you can have is like 10 minutes. So gotta really condense this. So you will need 3 pieces of, I use 2-inch 24 gauge beading wire. And then you're gonna need these pliers, some wire cutters, and some fine tip needle nose pliers. Alright. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the 3 2-inch pieces, and you're going to take just another extra little piece of wire, which as you make these more and more, you'll get better at it, and you'll have these little extra pieces that you can use specifically for this part. So you're going to take it right behind, and then you're going to wrap around. I usually do it about 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Bring it together and take your nails and just gently squish it together like that. And then you're going to take the wire cutters and cut off the extra. And then what the fine tip needle nose pliers are for is for these little pieces that are kind of poking a little bit, or poking out a little bit, so we're going to just gently squeeze those down. There we go, just like that. And then next, now be careful when working with these, because you'll probably poke yourself a little bit, especially as you get used to it, but I usually just eyeball it. So you want to have this part around the middle part, and then you're going to spread the wire out and make kind of like a little snowflake like that, and do the top and the bottom, so just like that. And then you're going to have a bunch set off to the side, but about 12 inches of the wire as well, the 24 gauge beading wire. And then now just keep in mind the first part is always going to be the hardest to do starting off. So put your finger behind it, then wrap around. I usually do it about twice on the first one. So wrap it just like that, and take your nails and very gently push it together. You gotta be careful because the wire will move, like this part will move, so you gotta be careful. And then you cut this little extra part off. And when I cut stuff off, I usually like to have my finger up here. That way it kind of stays right there. It doesn't go off flying and stuff. Alright, now, to do like this, you would put a bead on and then do the start. But I'm just doing the wire just for sake of time. So we're going to do it about right there. Now keep in mind, whenever you're making this, these parts will move, so you'll want to make sure you're adjusting wherever you want them. And then you'll go to the next one, and you'll twist around, just like that. And see how these are kind of moving a little bit? Just move them to wherever you want them. And then twist. You can see it's starting to kind of come together. Adjust, and just twist around. Go to the next one, and twist. Next one, and twist. And then go to the next one, and twist. So there's the first little loop. Now, I do have an example of what it would look like filling it up. Like so, and again, this is just for the sake of time, so if you want to do it colored, like fully colored, you're going to put a bead on, and then this wire, as you're doing it, you're going to put a bead on here as well, and then on here, and then twist around. See, just like that. You're going to do that all the way around. Now some of them, they're going to be big spaces, so if you need to use 2 beads, use 2 beads. And then you'll stop right here. Now at this point, right here, and it's the same with this one too, if you want, you can cut it off right here, put a bead on, and then tie it up again at the top. Gives it a little bit cleaner look. It's a little bit more time consuming and stuff, but what I usually do is I take a bead, I put it on top, so just like that, and then I wrap it around just like that, and that's going to keep it in place as well. But I do that just so it's a little bit less that I have to cut and stuff. Then you're going to go do the whole thing around, and then you'll end at the top, and then I'll show you the rest on that one. Now, so we're at the top here. Now, if you want to just make just the spider web with nothing on it, you can do the same thing as the other one. You can cut it off here, and then we start it up here. Or what I do is I just tie it around, just so it's less to cut. But we're going to be using a bead. So I'm going to put the little butterfly bead on. And then what I like to do is I go up and around behind it and then twist around. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep the bead in place, and like on the back of it, it kind of looks like it's caught in the web too. So it makes it a little bit cuter. Now, and then what you're going to do is the same thing you did right here. So you're just going to go around to the next one, twist, go around to the next one, twist, and also making sure these are where you want them to be, because again, they move. And twist. And sometimes the beading wire will like bend and stuff, so you can adjust it just by kind of moving it like that to give it a little bit of a rounder shape. And then twist. And then twist. And then to finish it off, now up here, especially if you use a bead, this part's always going to be shorter than the rest of these. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. So sometimes I have to take my pliers and kind of pull up a little bit to get a little bit extra. That way there's plenty of room to make the loop and stuff. And then I'm going to finish it off at the top. And I usually tie it around about 3 times as well, just so it's nice and tight. And there you go. And you gotta cut off the extra little part. Just like that. And take some pliers for the little pointy part. Just kind of squish it down gently. Just like that. You can adjust it however you want and stuff. And then for this part, you're going to need these. So again, kind of pull up a little bit. That way you got some room and stuff. Just be mindful that you're not squishing that down too far. And then you're going to take these, and you can usually eyeball it. So you're going to take these and twist to the right to make the loop. So just like that. You can adjust it a little bit as well. And then some of these are a little long, so you can take some your wire cutters and cut off a little bit. Cut off a little bit right there. That one needs a little cut off too. I have a much longer version of this on my YouTube, but again, like TikTok, the most you can do is like 10 minutes, and I'm pushing it right now, so just over 9 minutes right now. But then you're gonna twist and twist and twist and twist and twist. And twisting it to the right makes the loop to where you can put it on like earrings, you can put it on double jump ring, stuff like that. So there you go. Happy crafting!